You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome everyone to Cult Talk Net's Gift Exchange Apalooza 2, our newly christened yearly event that we debuted last year and we fell in love with so much we decided, hey, let's bring it back for very Cult Talk Christmas 3.
Hey, it's annual now.
It's annual. It's annual. Are we excited for it, guys?
Yes!
Oh yeah!
Yay!
There we go.
Very varying degrees of excitement.
Depends on what you got.
Yeah,
we got a loud Bailey. We got a okay us, and Ursa's like okay. Then Ben's like I ain't saying shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold here, so.
Oh, jeez. 'Tis the season.
It is.
So for those of you who might not have joined us last year, the way this works is we have all randomly chosen each other's names. And once you receive someone's name, it was your job to then pick a movie for them to watch and review. And it could be any movie. It didn't have to be Christmas movies. Anything that you want them to watch and review. It's our chance to make someone watch a movie that they might not want to watch or that they've just neglected to watch. And then that person will have 10 minutes to review and rate either naughty or nice. Mike will be keeping time on that. I know I'm going to need it.
Sure, I'll keep time.
Yeah. But yeah, this is our newly christened yearly event. And here we are for the second annual one. And we're going to kick it off with a very sick Ben. And your pick was by Eric. Eric, what'd you pick for Ben?
So for Ben, I picked Hot Fuzz.
Oof.
That's a good one. What do you mean, oof, Mike?
Yeah, what are you?
I don't get it. That's all. I just don't get
Well,
it.
what is there to get?
Well, okay, that's fair because this is one of the best written movies of all time.
Yeah. It's not a rom-com.
Mike won't get it.
so-
Yeah.
Not a rom-com.
get
It's
it.
not very procedural, so I get why you don't get it.
Yeah.
But that is why I picked this movie for Ben. It's hilarious, it's action-packed, and it's incredibly well written. So I had to share.
Edgar Wright. I mean, can't go wrong.
Well, that's not always true.
Well, yeah.
You largely can't go wrong.
Yeah, there are some. I would have been interested to see his Ant-Man. I'm really disappointed that didn't take place.
Oh, it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter who
It
they
wouldn't
hire.
matter. It wouldn't
Well, in
matter.
spirit of keeping everyone on time, Ben, go ahead.
There we go. And go.
Ben, go ahead and review Hot Fuzz for us.
I'm
That bug got
not,
derailed early.
I'm not going to need 10 minutes. I mean, everybody's... If you haven't seen Hot Fuzz, then this review is not going to help you much. I mean, it's Nicholas Angel. He's an over-the-top performing police officer in literally every way. He gets assigned to a very small, very quaint village up north because their country is up north versus down south. And he discovers this murder plot by the entire town, basically, the entire homeowners association. The plot is not really what makes this movie special. That's why I said, I don't need 10 minutes because the plot is either going to underwhelm you or it's just going to make you go, oh, okay.
Yeah, the plot is there out of necessity, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What this movie excels at is setup and payoff. I don't think there's a scene. There's definitely lines of dialogue because that would be too much. But I don't think there's a scene, or at least a full scene, that doesn't in some way set up something in the future that is then paid off either at the very end or directly after. And it's another movie that I think did that really well was maybe the first Deadpool was kind of like that, where they had a lot of small things in it that didn't hit you until later. It's one that you could watch over and over again and pick up new things each time. Hot Fuzz, though, is probably the king of that. You have Simon Pegg, who was better off when he was lesser known.
Oh,
I haven't seen anything of his
And off
recently.
of-
I haven't seen anything of his recently.
And all the way off of Twitter. All the way off of Twitter, Simon.
That's most people. Most people should stay off social media.
What's Twitter?
yeah. X.
Shut up,
Oh,
Mike.
okay.
Shut up, Mike.
But if you've seen any of what's known as the Cornetto trilogy, which is Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and End of the World.
At
Or is
World's
it-
End, I think.
World's End. That's what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, because the name of the bar is World's End. So
Yeah.
it's at World's End. This is easily the best of the three, and I don't think it's a contest. Although Shaun of the Dead's nice, and At World Ends is. So
I feel like that's always number 3. I feel like if anyone ranks Cornetto Trilogy, it's a toss up between Shaun and Hot Fuzz, but it's always going to end with At World's End.
it was it was subpar.
It went straight to video.
Well, I think that was more to do with the company than anything. But
Yeah, probably.
first of all, M. Night Shyamalan at World's End with having Nick Frost play the more regular guy and Simon playing and like, man, you've done 2 that you've established this pattern. People are not gonna like it.
Yeah, that's why try to fix what isn't broken.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a weird movie. I watched it recently when I was traveling, just because I can't remember anything of it. So I watched it and I was like, man, this is very underwhelming.
I watched it one time and I couldn't, and for the life of me, I haven't found a reason to watch it when the other 2 are just better.
Yeah, there's no reason to.
Right.
I thought maybe I was missing something the first time I watched it, and no, I wasn't.
No, but Hot Fuzz has basically probably the most quotable moments out of like any of the 3. From good luck catching those swans, then to jog on to. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Great big bushy beard.
Great big bushy beard. Like, I mean, oh my God.
I'm a slasher.
That is the best moment. Is it Dalton? What is his name? I didn't look it up. I should have. Ty, how do you not know his name?
I don't know a lot of British actors.
I'm on it.
Is it Timothy Dalton? No.
Yep.
Is it?
Timothy Dalton. Yeah.
Damn.
Bingo! Wow, pulled that one out of your ass. Nice.
But that was definitely where that came from. But when he runs up on him jogging, he's just like, I'm a slasher. And he just literally is like laying out that he's the bad guy through the entire thing, complete with catch me later. I mean, that's fantastic. And you can tell that Timothy Dalton, who is he played James Bond, I believe. Yeah, so you can tell he's just having like the time of his life here. It's fantastic. It's always enjoyable to watch a movie that is good and the whole cast had fun on. Because we have no shortage of movies now where you can tell the cast had fun. And that's because the movie blows.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to see that it can be done. But I don't know, what's everybody's favorite moment besides Michael, because
He doesn't get it. Yeah, he doesn't. It's not rom-com enough.
Yeah, with his 2 fingers.
anyway, let's start with yours. What's your favorite moment?
When he jumps over the fences in Hot Fuzz. Because it's a direct, like, redemption from Shaun of the Dead. I think Eric told me that first, and he was like, watch for the redemption when I watched both of them together. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. That's my favorite moment.
My favorite is when the guy gets killed at the church, when the, what is it, the gargoyle or whatever it is falls on him.
The steeple.
Yeah, the steeple falls.
People in this can push buildings. And
Yeah.
like, the roof is in repair. I'm like, that chunk by itself still weighs.
That is so violent. Like when he gets it's so violent, they show it. They don't cut away. I love that.
He's a fun runner. He can do everything.
What about you, Eric?
Oh, picking one is so hard. But so I'll just pick a moment that was one of my favorites was during the Romeo and Juliet play, the look on Simon Pegg's face when they suddenly break out into a fucking musical. Was so good.
Say that you need. Oh my God.
But that's just like that. Man, I'm picking one thing out of hundreds that I could have picked. So good.
What about you, Jerry?
I love when they're at the pub and he's talking to the detectives that are around and the other police officers that he's working with.
Yeah.
And the one guy has like a beer mustache in his mustache.
Oh, he's like,
you've got a mustache. And he's like, oh, I know.
I die every time.
What about you, Ursa?
When he's loading a shotgun and he says shame. What they're talking about. They get killed because you can tell he does not give a shit at all. It's like shame. It reminds me of that. Oh no. Anyway.
Oh no. Yeah, I think I've tried to watch.
Why don't you like this movie?
I don't know. I've tried watching Shaun of the Dead. I think I've watched some of Shaun of the Dead, even with Tyler, and I don't even know the At World's End. I don't even know that one existed. And Hot Fuzz, I don't know. They never hit my radar. I don't know. It never piqued my interest for any reason. I don't know. It just never hit, and I really don't know why. I don't know. It might be because I'll try to blame it on the comedy of it because, like, aren't they like British or UK or something?
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of British comedy.
me
Oh, I
neither. Me neither. I like these movies. It's not like that typical British humor. I don't
And
like
now-
that dry stuff.
Well, that might be part of it too, because I do like British humor, and if it's not hitting the British humor that I'm after, that's probably why I'm like, well, it's not even. They didn't do it for me because they're British and they're not doing it. Like maybe that's what's missing on me.
Michael likes his comedy drier than a nun's nasty.
Yes, I mean, I have an eclectic taste in comedy. It is far and wide.
Eclectic?
Eclectic.
Eclectic boring.
Yeah, so that's a milk toast.
Well, I'll listen to John Mulaney, Louis C.K., but then I'll enjoy a nice rom-com, and then I like, comedy Bang Bang's dry humor, like
What?
The whitest taste in humor you can have.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whitest
What
taste.
was that last one?
Comedy
Comedy
Bang Bang?
Bang Bang.
What is that?
It's a sketch comedy show. It was on Netflix. I think it was IFC did it. It's all right.
Yeah.
First season's pretty good.
Yeah,
Second
once
season's
Weird Al got involved, I'm like,
Yeah.
Reggie Watts made that show for sure.
That sounds fun. I'd like to check that out.
It's on
Anyway.
Netflix. First season's good. But what are you ranking it, Ben? Is it naughty or nice?
Oh, Hot Fuzz is it's nice. Obviously, it's kind of absurd that this movie is a masterclass in setup and payoff.
Yeah. Well,
kind of
it's one of those things that
really.
it's crazy that's something that now is like really lacking is setup and payoff in modern movies. Like modern movies don't fucking care. Like they almost like to intentionally not give you any payoff. It's like that's the joke.
Subvert your expectations. Yeah, no, we've heard that to death. But I mean, this movie subverts your expectations too.
Yeah, it
It's not
does.
one killer, it's multiple. The Swan is the hero.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes. Save
I
your
hit it
thoughts.
around the head.
I told
Wow.
you like 10 minutes would be enough.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. Keep an effort of keeping us on track because I'm the most organized. We're going to move on to Bailey.
Yeah, so
Hi.
Ben
who
picked
picked
for Bailey.
Ben, what'd you pick for Bailey?
I picked The Never Ending Story.
Ooh, why?
It's obviously it is one that probably all of us have seen in our young grown up lives, and since Bailey's just on this side of that particular spectrum, I thought it was about time that she watched it. She's been dodging it too.
I have.
We tried to watch it like 3 or 4 times. She
Absolutely not.
I don't know why. That and Labyrinth. She was afraid of the puppets, I think. Afraid of the puppets.
I was afraid of the puppets growing up in the labyrinth, and they're still just as scary.
I can see that because they are creepy looking characters, even in Neverending Story.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because we grew up as kids, so it's not as terrifying. But I could definitely see someone who's not familiar with that watching one of those movies and being legitimately terrified.
Dude, Falcor's got scales. Ooh, say that 5 times fast. Is what got me. I was like, oh, that looks gross. I don't like it. He's a luck dragon, so he's got fur and scales. And it's like 3 foot wide of fur with so his head was huge.
We were looking it up, and Falcor's animatronic head was 3 foot long and 3 foot high, just by itself. And they did the full body. Like that thing was
They were showing that one off.
I think I watched a Storage Wars where they found that in like a storage locker.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was like they opened up the storage locker and it was just Falcor's head like in the storage locker.
That's the find of a fucking lifetime.
I had to sit here and remind myself, making sure Neverending Story is the one with the horse.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just had to remember. No, go ahead, Bailey. Your 10 minutes starts now, however you want to do it.
We're going to talk about the horse scene in a minute. But for the reason I hadn't watched this movie is because of the song Neverending Story. Because I was like, if this movie is anything like this fucking song, it's a big NO. Absolutely not.
Sorry.
No, Michael, we've made it this far with no one playing it yet. So, Jerry, don't think just because you have amazing puns that I will not throat punch you. It is still holidays, motherfucker.
Oh no.
We get violent. Anyway, so I really actually enjoyed it. I was very taken aback. I loved the efficiency of the father, the way that he drank his orange juice and a raw egg all in one glass. I was like, this man has no idea what he's doing. And that's okay, because we all figure it out. It's fine. But the way he's like, we have to go on with life after your mother. It's like, we have to go on with life after losing the merger. Like, it's just so very just dry. So like right off the bat, like I instantly felt bad for Bastian.
There you go.
Bastion. That's an odd name. I love that name. They had some really cool names in this one. I really want a night hob. I need a little night hob instead of a little fairy fucker in my house. I feel like
Fairy fucker?
night hob would be great.
I'm not going to make the joke.
Everyone's watching me. I don't want to make the joke.
Not a fairy fucker, just a fairy.
I might have been called something like that a time or two.
I was going to say, Ty doesn't come over that often, guys.
That is nothing like what the joke I was going to make, just to be clear.
Eric's joke did not involve glitter. It's fine.
I love the Night Hub. I love the racing snail. Those were like such cool, like little, like, oh my gosh. How freaking amazing was that? That was absolutely beautiful. And then Atreyu. We got to talk about Atreyu. Atreyu's fabulous.
Oh, you got to.
I love Atreyu. He's literally chasing purple buffaloes. And first of all, I want to see a fucking purple buffalo. Like, get a fucking purple buffalo. So now we get to the dreaded horse scene. So were you guys all affected by the horse scene? Every single one of you?
Everyone always talks about it. And like, I don't think I was affected by it as a kid. And I watched it recently with Evan because he'd never seen it. And it's like it's like very underwhelming. Like the scene isn't like, I always, when people talked about the scene, remember it being like this drawn out thing.
Yeah.
Like, but it's very just like fast.
It is really fast.
Yeah, I was not affected by it at all as a kid, I don't think.
The worst part of that scene is the fact that the horse is, I can't remember the name now, is Artax. Artax is getting so sad. And it's like Atreyu like doesn't know what to do to make him happy again and to get him to go through. So he like starts sinking and everything. And he's just all these emotions and whatnot.
Stupid horse.
Oh man, poor thing.
Why the
Poor
long
thing.
face?
Oh, he's sad. But I found that scene, while sad, because Atreyu crying is absolutely heart wrenching. Little kids crying is always sad.
A lot of times they deserve it.
Ty just kicks him and was like, "Cry harder." Now you have something to really cry about.
I just try not to put myself around kids in general. I don't want to be around any of them.
They're sticky, huh?
Yeah, they're sticky and they smell.
And they cry. But the scene where the rock monster like sacrifices him, or the rock giant, sacrifices himself so that his friends can go on, and how he wasn't able to save his little friends because he wasn't fast enough. And I was just like, oh, no, that was a tearjerker. I felt like I've been there. Like, oh my God, I'm just going to let the darkness take me and save you guys. And I'm just going to sit here. And I'm like, oh.
These big, strong hands.
Big, strong, dark hands.
I absolutely loved it. However, I got to thinking a little while after I'd watched it, and I'm like, wait, we never got a follow up on like if he ever made it out of the school. Is he still in Fantasia? What happened with him and Moonchild? Like, did he go on to like rule Fantasia or like become like Moonchild's advisor? What happens to the next story? Like, I had so many questions. And
that's why you got the never-ending story. The story continues.
That's true. Yeah, with the one little grain of sand. I want a book like that to actually exist, where you actually get kind of that turnaround where it's like, no, the reader has to now make the decision, and that will save all.
We used to have those back in the day.
Yeah, I remember those books.
Choose your adventure books. Those were a blast.
Go to page 54. You're dead.
Yeah, you die. Way to fucking go.
Yeah, those were a blast. I miss those. I think they're actually coming back now. I think they're actually like making a comeback.
It would make sense. That's great. That was beautiful. But yeah, I definitely regret not watching Neverending Story sooner. Because it was just such a wonderful, wonderful film. Made me feel happy. It was a true happy ending, and it was absolutely beautiful. That's all.
So what are you ranking it as, Bailey? Is it naughty or nice? Nice. Too nice in a row. This has been too nice of a Christmas so far.
Bailey, you got 4 minutes. What do you want to do with your 4 minutes?
Can we take a break?
What?
What?
A break? What are you going to do with a 4-minute break?
Our audience will love that. Yeah, our audience will love that. We just
audience, if you don't mind, we're going to just stop right here.
4 minutes of dead air just for our audience's listening pleasure.
Here.
I can think of 18 things I can do in 4 minutes. Like one of them twice.
Well, okay.
Well,
that's Bailey. So
Eric's like, nope.
I think we're going to roll on to Mr. Jerry. Jerry, you were picked by Urs. Urs, what did you pick for Jerry?
Yeah, I picked Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Why'd you pick it for him?
It was a movie that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. They even made like a little cartoon series for a little bit.
God, I forgot about the cartoon.
Video game.
I had the action figures. Yeah,
there was a video game that I played a lot too. I don't know why I liked this movie as a kid because it's absurd.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
But I loved it as a kid, and I just didn't think Jerry had watched it.
And Jerry farms tomatoes.
Yeah, I do farm.
I did not know that about you.
Are you questioning? Are you questioning your decision to grow tomatoes now?
Oh yeah, they're definitely a no-go anymore.
Can't do that.
No, you're gonna have to get over that come spring.
Well,
just make sure they're not killer ones. Duh.
That's true.
Well, if I get the song right, I can control them.
Yes, that is very good. You just got to practice. You have plenty of time to practice for next harvest. So, Jerry, let's hear your thoughts on Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
All right, so this movie is made in 1978. It had a PG rating, which I was not expecting.
The 70s were a different time.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, this is a B horror movie. It's gonna be.
I think you could get away with showing full bush and PG movies back in the 70s. I think they were like kids. It's fine.
So, even the blood in this movie is not really blood. It's all tomato juice.
That's to get around.
So they really worked around that. This movie was, I think it's a love story. I tried to follow this plot going on.
Plot?
Yeah.
What are you looking for that for?
Attack of Killer Tomatoes.
I took 2 pages of notes on
the plot's in the title.
So the movie is about these mutated tomatoes just start attacking people. They're attacking and eating them. I don't know if I have to say anything else. That's
you're taking the long way around to say the title again.
Yeah.
You see that there's these tomatoes. And they kill and subsequently attack.
I say tomato. So there's characters in the movie. There's a guy named Mason Dixon.
Yes,
and the government puts him in charge of trying to investigate and stop this tomato menace. The government is extremely trying to prevent the public from knowing this is happening, while it's just taking over the United States.
It's bad for business.
Yeah, it's bad for business. So this Mason Dixon guy, they pulled him out of nowhere. They give him a team of Olympic. There's an Olympic swimmer, eats steroid cereal.
Yep.
There's a master of disguise, which when you first see him, he's wearing one of those glasses with the nose mustache kind of things. Yes. There's an underwater diver, and he's an expert in underwater whatever.
Diving. Underwater diving.
And they also get a special forces kind of guy that comes in on a parachute. And the rest of the movie, he's dragging this parachute with him, the whole movie. It's not in his backpack. It's getting caught in car doors, and he's in a chase scene where he's chasing a guy over some pallets, and it's dragging. And I think at some point in the movie, during the production, it actually almost killed him because they were dragging him on a car.
Oh my god!
Parachute, and they just didn't plan properly, and he flung into something, and he got knocked out, and that halted production for a while.
Yeah, get away with that today. Good luck.
There's this scene. Okay, so there's this helicopter. Ursa, do you remember the helicopter?
I do not.
Okay, there's this scene where a helicopter comes down in this field. It's right at the beginning of the movie, and they're the cops are shooting at the tomatoes in the field. And this helicopter comes down, and its tail end slams into the ground, and it breaks. And the whole helicopter, then can't control itself, and it crashes, and it sort of breaks apart everywhere. It's one of those old 70s frame helicopters, and that was real. They didn't mean to do that. Oh my god! So this movie
happened to MASH too.
This movie had a budget of less than $100,000.
And they spent it on crashing a helicopter. It sounds like
$60,000 worth of helicopter got destroyed.
Hopefully they got it on a deal, or it was a sponsor.
I'd say they're probably renting it. They're probably renting it. They weren't expecting to pay $60,000.
They rented it.
Yeah.
We'll give it back. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring it right back. Not a scratch.
So I don't know if they expected to do that or but like that's one of the coolest scenes in the movie actually. It's this helicopter crashing because like the actor like turns around, he's like he's just looking at it because it lands really close to the police officer.
Oh my god. It's probably like it was actually an accident. They're like, well, did we get it? Like did we get it on film?
They ended up like putting another scene in there to make it like that was on purpose.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, we got attacked by a kamikaze tomato. Like, tomatoes can fly, and it's like, well, they can't really attack people either, so I don't know what's going on.
You make this movie sound ridiculous, Jerry.
It's pretty serious.
Oh,
It's straightforward.
There's only like 3 or 4 musical numbers in it.
What?
are you serious?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a musical, but there's musical numbers in it.
Do we lose anything from the plot if we skip the songs?
No.
Oh.
God, no. I actually encourage you to skip those. Watch the movie.
As a matter of fact, once you hear the music cue in, fast forward.
Last time I watched this, like basically the only time I watched it as an adult, I was really inebriated. So
Did you enjoy it then?
yeah, oh yeah, it was.
Okay, that's probably what I should have done.
I've watched this movie plenty of times sober, and I've liked it every time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's Tyler for you.
Yep.
It gets me. It speaks to me.
He'll make fun of my eclectic taste, but then he'll watch
You
this.
can't use that. You can't tell me you watch John Mulaney then pop onto a rom-com. You can't use
So
the word
rom-com,
eclectic.
then I'll go watch Chris Rock's new special and
There you go.
be waiting for Eddie Murphy to make his comeback. That's what I do.
It's not happening.
There's a scene in this movie where they find out that you can stop the tomatoes by playing this song called Puberty Love.
You want to sing it for us?
God.
I can't, but it is sung by the drummer for Soundgarden.
Okay.
He's now
Oh,
in Pearl
nice.
Jam. His name's Matt Cameron. He was a teenager at the time.
Interesting.
awesome.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because it was like a neighborhood project.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But there is a point where one of the tomatoes that they're trying to stop is wearing earmuffs.
Oh no!
Oh no! Whatever will they do?
Yeah, it's attacking.
Didn't see that coming.
So what?
They don't have
Mason
ears.
Dixon does, Mason Dixon pulls out this piece of paper and shows it to the tomato, and it's the sheet music for the song.
Oh my god!
And then the tomato.
That's good enough, huh?
That's all it takes.
Yeah. You guys want to guess what it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
What do I get?
27%.
Oh, wow.
That's terrible.
So
Come on,
Killer
tomatoes in the name.
This movie has 3 sequels.
Why?
Yeah, George Clooney's in the second one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Return
one of his.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Killer Tomatoes Strike Back and Killer Tomatoes Eat France.
France.
Yes, Eat France.
Oh, wow.
Have you
When
ever,
did the last one come out?
French fries.
1991.
Oh, nice.
Jerry? Have you ever seen like the Toxic Avenger?
I have, yes. I like that one.
I love it.
Yeah, that was going to be the
getting
the
remade.
other choice.
Ooh.
So it was either Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or Toxic Avenger. One of those two. And
You got
I
the
think I
better
picked the right one. Yeah,
Aw.
she hadn't seen this one yet.
This was an experience, this movie.
Toxic Avenger is one of those interesting things from the 80s where it's like a super violent, like not for kids movie. And then for whatever reason, they just decide to follow it up with a kids TV cartoon. It's like super weird.
Crazy how that worked, isn't it?
It is. The 80s were like different
Yeah,
time.
nobody
brother.
gave a fuck. It was like your kids. I remember watching fucking RoboCop when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's
Like
nuts.
nobody cared. It's like, yeah, whatever.
What else would you like to share, Jerry?
Let's see. There's a point where the Master of Disguise, he's a black fellow, and he dresses like Hitler at some point. There's no
Kanye?
reason for him to do that.
Is it
He's just
Kanye?
driving the car around. And he dresses up like Hitler. And
You're gonna
Did his
blend in.
that's Abraham Lincoln.
Just blending in.
Yep.
How could you not
Oh,
like
wait,
this movie?
He does dress up like a tomato and infiltrate the camp. And he's only found out when he's like eating a hot dog and he asks one of the tomatoes to pass the ketchup.
Before you give your rating of this, was it better or worse than Thanksgiving 3? Since I know you've seen that one.
Oh, that's a hard comparison. This, I think, was... They're both kind of hard to watch. I would say this was maybe a little worse.
Yeah. Well, Thanksgiving 3 did have Jefferson in it.
It
He
did.
saves that movie.
And it had a lot of puns, so that at least kept you intrigued.
Sprinkles of rain.
Sprinkles of rain.
So what are you ranking it, Jerry? Is it naughty or nice?
This is a naughty one.
Naughty, or first naughty of the episode.
First, I thank you for taking me on this experience.
You're welcome, buddy.
You at least have that in your life now.
You're going to get some tomatoes next summer.
You've seen some very interesting movies since joining the Cult Talk Net. You've seen some very interesting flicks.
Yeah, name some interesting flicks that have been forced upon you so
I
far.
think you've only
Jerry.
seen a couple.
Yeah, still name them.
This has expanded my repertoire. Yeah, Thanksgiving 3 or 2? 3. Thanksgiving 3.
Yeah.
This movie. What else did we watch?
I think that's been it. You haven't been exposed too much
He's
yet.
been part of the Addams families.
He hasn't been on too many of the those were, I'm sure he's watched those. He hasn't been on too many of the Call to Campbells. I don't think he's been on any of the Call to Campbells. So
Those are pretty few movies I hadn't seen before.
Yeah. But
Nice.
Urs picked that, and I think let's just roll on. Urs, you're next. I picked for Urs, and I picked a movie I had been trying to get him to watch for a while, which is what I like about this whole bit is I get to get people to watch movies I've been trying to tell them about. And it's a movie called Savage Land, and it's a mockumentary. I love mockumentaries. It's one of my favorite genres, especially when they're done right, when it's done like believable. I love it. It's a super interesting mockumentary, and I picked it for Urs because Urs into photography, and this movie is heavily centered on photography. So Urs, why don't you tell us about Savage Land?
It was a very done well mockumentary. Apparently, because when I was doing like research, looking up stuff about the movie, a lot of people Googled if it was a true story. But if you ever wonder like what happens to the sole survivor after like some horror massacre, this is it. Motherfucker goes to jail. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's like the ending of like every like massacre movie where it's like, what happens now? You tell them that the aliens killed your friends. Like it's like, no, you're going to prison.
It seemed like it was like kind of like, you remember like the Crazies where everybody in town just went nuts and started butchering each other?
Yeah.
It was like that, except for this one fucking guy. So like 57 people died, and he was like the sole survivor.
Yep.
And he had he had a camera, obviously, and he was taking pictures, but the film never made it to like the trial. One guy found the film, but it didn't go to the trial as evidence. So he was the only one alive, and he had evidence. Obviously, they had evidence that he was there, and he was the only person alive. So, and he was like an illegal immigrant. So it's like, yeah, you're fucked.
You don't stand a
But it was
chance in
really
America.
interesting. It was thought provoking. I'll say that. It was really a surprise coming from Tyler's pick. No offense.
It was a good thing he actually had you watch.
Yeah, it was actually a really good movie. It was thought provoking not only in that like what happens to like the sole survivor when there's like some kind of massacre like that, but also an immigrant in a town that's probably not very, or a state that's not very progressive, we'll say.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing too. Is the town that takes place in is a like migrate. It's like a border town, and the local like authorities don't even like really investigate what happened. They just instantly like find this immigrant, and they're just like, "You did it."
Yeah, and I don't even think it ever even said like. If it did, I missed it. Like who was doing the killing? It was like they were like, "Oh, 8 people went up to the top of this water tower and jumped off."
Yep.
Like something was chasing them, but I don't think anything was chasing. I think people just went fucking nuts in this town, like some kind of secret government experiment or something like that.
Yeah, so it's like a zombie movie is basically what it is for you guys if you haven't picked it up. Like all of a sudden in this little border town, a horde of zombies or zombie like things just attack this town and kill everybody. Like it's like a horde that moves through the town and like kills everyone in this town and just vanishes. So it's kind of like a zombie movie a little bit. And at the end, you kind of find out it is like a zombie movie when you find did you stick around for the very end?
Yeah, the guy's body was still gone.
Yeah, they execute him.
Yeah,
his
they
body
like expedite his execution. Like no appeals, no nothing. You're fucked. And then his body just disappeared from the grave. But
How many people did he kill? Not really, though.
there was like 57.
Yeah, it was an entire old town.
Like this preacher guy butchered his wife and kids with like a machete, apparently.
Yeah, to save them from whatever was killing everyone else.
As you do.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you thought that was.
I think there would be
better.
quicker ways than with a machete. I'm like, no, bro, just smother me with a pillow or something. Fuck.
Yeah, there's just really.
Don't hack me to bits with a machete.
There's a really creepy part too where they find like that preacher guy left like a tape behind where he's like talking about killing his family, and his daughter's name is Grace, and it's like very creepy how he's like, talking about like he's a preacher and he's talking about killing Grace. But,
Right,
you know,
so calling himself Abraham and shit. How he had to sacrifice him. It was fucked up.
But it felt real. Did it, like
you've
if
seen
you didn't know?
you watched a little bit of it once, Mike, and you thought it was real.
Did I?
You thought it was real.
I think the one I watched with you, if it's the same one, it was in the town. It was like creatures.
Yeah, they're like
killing the town.
zombies. Yeah.
Was that okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to the I'm like, this isn't real, but like, what the fuck
But
is this?
that whole movie, you were like, how did what are these things? Like you believed it up until the end.
Yeah, because I just kind of came in the middle of Tyler watching, and I'm just it's very well done documentary style for sure. Like if you didn't know going in it was a mockumentary, you'd be like, what the fuck? Eric would panic.
Like there were a few like interviewees, I guess you would say, that you could tell that they just weren't. They should have done a little more casting, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do like the casting local people to make it seem more authentic. You know, like
But
I think
then
what they
the
were
other
going
ones,
for.
like them fucking the rednecks when they were talking about the border wall and stuff like that. It's fucking spot on. It's exactly how I imagine those people looking and acting.
I always feel like they like just found real people and were like, tell us what you think of immigrants. And
Probably. Yeah, they'd rather shoot you and give you $1. It's like, what the fuck? What kind of comparison is that, guy? Jesus Christ.
so what do you rank it as, Urs? So I picked for you. What do you rank it, naughty or nice?
Nice. I'll give it a nice.
You know, 2 years in a row, I've picked movies, and both came up nice. And everyone still thinks I'm not picking good movies.
Well, you know who you're picking for. You're good at picking a movie for somebody, but if you feel like torturing them, you torture them.
Yeah, I'm never out torturing one.
You're a good gift giver.
Yes. I
am a good gift giver, yeah.
Tyler likes his reputation as a good gift giver, so he's not going to ruin it for a podcast. So he knows who he's picking for.
Yeah, I've got a reputation to uphold.
Yeah.
Can't go sullying my own name. So, Mike, where's Bailey at? Is Bailey there?
Is Bailey still around?
Bailey?
She's destroying the house. Give her time.
She's gone in an angry fit.
Yep, she's pissed.
Gypsy was hogging her attention there.
Sorry, guys. We've got hungry animals here at the Frost House.
Eric's not an animal.
So, Bailey, you picked for Mike. You got Mike a Christmas present. What'd you get him?
I got him P.S. I love you. Don't all cheer at once.
Who hasn't seen it?
Everyone like gets all anxious when I get picked for him. This is who you got to be afraid of.
Listen, I'll agree to that.
Chris, you got a wonderful movie last year. That was beautiful. You said you enjoyed it.
We'll have to go back and listen to the transcript. I don't know about that. But we'll have to go back and listen.
Well, that episode's on Cultober Plus. It came out yesterday, so you can go listen to it now.
See what he thought.
Yeah. But I think at least in this case this year, Bailey knew who she was picking for. It's fine.
Oh, yes. I love this movie. I watched this movie on like a massive repeat for like a year straight one time just because it was just so good and nobody loved me.
What do you mean? Like 365 days you watched this movie?
Probably about like every other night. Like I would fall asleep to it. Yeah,
wow.
Like you don't do that. You don't just like pick a random thing.
Well, I fall asleep to The Simpsons every night, but not the same episode of Simpsons.
Well, I mean, it's
I've
fine.
done that with movies before. It's just like, I'm just going to put this on for sleep. And then the title menu would wake me up.
I did that with the Fifth Element for like 6 months, probably.
Oh,
I couldn't do that with my movies. My movies are too thought-provoking.
Yep.
Too engaging.
Or the quality is just such that, the sudden burst in sound will just wake you up.
It's a lot of, they did what? There's a, huh? Who's that?
Hold on. Let me rewind. I must have missed something.
When did that happen? When
did this person get here?
Yeah.
Why is this person here? I love this movie. It's so grand. It actually, this is the reason I want to go around the world one day because
Well, she didn't even go around the world. She just went to Scotland, my dude.
yeah, it was beautiful. I love the scene where she's in the garden or when she's in the national park and she's like, is the national park near? And he's like, you've been in the national park for like an hour.
Yeah. How long you been walking? A few hours. Well, you've probably been in the park for a few hours then. Like,
right. But I loved it. Michael, what do you think of P.S. I Love You?
What does Michael think of P.S. I Love You? Who hasn't seen it? Has anyone like
me? I've never seen it.
Okay.
I have not seen it.
Oh,
Jerry hasn't seen it. I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, and
Ben hasn't even seen it.
Good on you, Ben.
Oh my gosh!
Fight the power.
First time ever. This is the first time ever where 90% of Cult Talk Net has not seen a movie that I've seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, there's differences. Like we ask you, you've seen movies that like you should have seen.
Well, like in her defense, though, I mean, this movie had a budget of $30 million and it fucking destroyed at $156 million box office. So it's like it was a major film. I mean, it's early in Gerard Butler's career.
Gerard Butler.
And Gerard Butler had that whole back and forth for a long time where he's doing like, 300. He'd come over to P.S. I Love You. He'd go do like Gamer, come back and do another romantic comedy. He's a wild dude in his acting career, I think.
He has a pretty wild career.
Yeah. So this was pretty early because this came out in 2007. Let me verify it. Yeah, 2007, I think. Yes, December 21st, 2007.
What the fuck happened to Gerard Butler?
He's still around, isn't he?
I don't know. Last thing he did.
Probably
was Fallen. Maybe. I don't know.
He did that Fallen franchise. Know that. Like that turned into a franchise.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, you're right though. I haven't heard from him in a while. Did he just? I don't know. Did he go? Who knows?
He's not with Marvel or DC, so he's doing all right.
Yeah.
Actually, he's had a couple kids since like 2000 and teens. So like he might just be doing the family man.
He might just be chilling. I mean, he's had a shit ton of hits.
I'm sure he's got money. Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, he's got money.
But let me just
well-known movies recently. He has not done very well-known movies recently. He does have some stuff coming out soon.
He's just chilling. So, a movie directed by Richard Gravenesis. I don't know. That's a one for Eric to pronounce later. Based on P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. It must be a book, I guess.
It's a comic book.
Probably.
It's a video game.
Produced by 4 people. I'm only going to mention the one right off is Molly Smith because it's relevant later. What I'm going to bring up. Starring, now this was a heck of a cast actually. So it had Hilary Swank, which in the trailers they're pimping her more than they are Gerard Butler because he hasn't won any awards
yet.
Yeah. So like Academy Award winner Hilary Swank with Gerard Butler, it's kind of like that kind of thing going on. So Hilary Swank, Gerard Butler, Lisa Kudrow, who I honestly do like in films like Romeo and Michelle's Wedding. I liked her in Easy A. She does I wish she would get more work, but I don't know. I liked her in this also. Harry Connick Jr., Gina Gershon, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Kathy Bates was even in this. I like Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates is awesome.
Yes. Production, don't care about. All right. So let's go. Runtime 125 minutes. United States. I already said the budget. So let's go through some plot stuff here. P.S. I Love You, a romantic drama. So it's not a romantic comedy. So there's at least that.
It's a rom-drom.
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 But it does have its comedy elements, but it definitely leans harder on the drama aspect of it. They try to do I don't know, not really. It's not important. So it's a romantic drama that follows the journey of Holly Kennedy after loss of her husband, Jerry. So here's our quick breakdown. We meet Holly and her husband, Jerry, who have a deep, loving relationship, though you cannot tell at first because they're arguing. She's walking away from him. She's pissed about something. You don't know what's going on. And they just go into this whole fight. And they do a lot of good establishing here of stuff they fight with each other about because they spend a lot of time on this beginning argument, but I think they do it rightfully so because right after this Jerry dies. He's just dead.
Damn,
he dies.
Jerry?
Yeah. Jerry dies.
I probably deserved it.
Yeah.
Well, they're arguing about the fact that which is a gentleman. I'm speaking to my gentleman right now.
Oh no.
If you have a woman and you tell
Never had one.
that woman's mother
You had one.
I had one, back in the desert.
You tell that woman's mother that she doesn't want children, and that mother is all about the grandbabies, and you have the fucking nerve to put us on blast like that. You deserve whatever fucking scolding you're getting ready to get when you get home.
Do you deserve to die?
No, listen.
He died?
That's my name's Saul, and that shit's between y'all.
No, it basically becomes a fight about them airing their grievances for the most part.
True, yeah.
Kind of giving you like hints about like little things to come. She's like, oh, I wish I could be a Scottish man that just sings all the time. And, but they really don't dive into that. They're just kind of airing grievances they both have with each other. It's a pretty long scene, but it's warranted just because this man is gone. I mean, he comes back for the flashbacks and everything throughout the film, but he's just dead after this. So they have to spend a long time.
Who plays him? Is that Gerard Butler? Or?
Yeah, Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank are the married couple. And that's Jerry and Holly.
How's he die?
So he dies with a brain tumor.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, watching the trailer, I thought it was like a car crash or something. But he dies of an illness, leaving Holly heartbroken, and she's really having a hard time with it. But his funeral is definitely like how I'd want a funeral. Like they obviously the brain tumor, and they knew it was coming for a long time. So he had Holly design his box that his ashes were going to be in. So to design it was a nice box, and that his funeral or his wake or whatever you want to call it was at this Kathy Bates is Holly's mom bar. She owns this bar, and they had his wake there, and they had a bunch of shot glasses in front of his box, his urn thing, and basically they start singing his favorite song. You start hearing even the priest is like singing the song, and God, I wish I could remember the words, but he throws down the F word, Tyler. You should be pissed. But it's like a Scottish shanty type song, and people are like singing the song because it was his favorite. And they go up, pour themselves a shot of Jameson, take a shot, and throw the glass upside down on top of his urn. And everyone's just having a good time and remembering him and everything. That's kind of the way you want your funeral to be, in my opinion.
Celebration of life.
Yeah, celebration of life. Yeah.
Yeah, celebration of life. So at the beginning of her 30th birthday, who she's been grieving for a long time, like hasn't left the house, Holly receives a series of letters from Gary wrote before his death, designed to help her move on and rediscover her passion for life. So he kind of sends her on these journeys of things she has to do. Like the first thing is like a recording instead of a letter. And it's telling her like, hey, just go out and then party tonight. It's your 30th birthday. Go have a good time. You have permission to go out. And don't try to figure out how I'm going to send you all these letters in the future because I worked really hard on this and it'll just ruin the surprise sort of thing. And,
so he sends her like letters. Has it like set up? Oh, that's kind of cool.
He had it all set up. So the first one comes just regular mail, and it's just a tape recorder, and everyone's there, including her mom. And he kind of does a little quip at her mom, and she's like, "Oh, she's right there, isn't she?" Sorry, but yeah, let's go outside. Go do your thing. So each letter contains a specific set of instructions or messages encouraging Holly to embark on new experiences like singing at a karaoke bar or going on a trip to Ireland, which it's Ireland. I thought it was Scotland. My bad. Ireland. And he like planned that whole trip. And like when they, a funny part, because, she had like 3 or 4 letters before she went to Ireland. And then they get to Ireland, her 2 friends go with her. And inside the house that he had booked for him, there's a letter in there for one of her friends. Oh. Well, both of them has letters for both of her friends, and they both read them. And then at the end, she's just like, oh, there's no letter for me. And Lisa Kudrow's character is like, well, he just must love us more than you, I guess. Like bitch, you done like 4 or 5 of these things. He organized you a whole trip to Ireland. Fuck off. Like this isn't good enough. I didn't get a letter.
Did you watch the extended version?
I don't know.
Did you see the part where he went in and actually planned everything with the travel agent?
I didn't see where he went in, but like when they were there talking about, like actually see him go in or just them talking about?
Like in the extended edition, there's a scene with him walking into the travel agency's office, and then he begins to tell the travel agent that he's dying and that he's trying to plan this lovely surprise for his wife after he's gone. And then they go through and like they plan everything.
Oh yeah, so, I didn't get all that.
Yeah, and that's one of the scenes, and like there's more in the extended edition too, but that's one of the scenes where it's like that one should not have been cut because like it just gives so much backstory.
And like it's kind of like the forethought this dude was doing. I mean, she ends up having sex with one of his old bandmates from Ireland, even, and like there's a lot going on. I can't cover everything. There was a lot, but just some of the forethought he had with these letters is like he just planned a trip to Ireland for her to like go on a fishing trip, be in this house, and she decided on her own to go visit Jerry's parents, her in-laws, and he goes there and they had a letter for her. He's like, he knew I would come. Like he must have. I don't know. So he's just really thought about where these letters would go. Let me shoot through the rest of the plot real quick. Trip to Ireland. Holly is supported by her friends and family. Yes. Throughout the film, Holly grows emotionally. Yes. The film concludes with Holly having found a balance between honoring her past with Jerry, because at the end there's this friend that's like helping her along the way with the grieving. He's a guy, and he really wanted to be with her. And they have this moment where they go to this place and they kiss, but then they're both like, "This is gross. That was like kissing my sister." So I like how they didn't let that be like the ending of it, because like the final letter, it was after a year after he died. Like it went on for a whole year, and the final letter came from her own mom. Aww. And her mom hated Jerry. She's like, but he made me promise to do this. Like, she's like, I told him I didn't think it'd be good for you, but she's like, he made me promise with this, was basically a dying wish, honestly. Mm-hmm. And that was a very nice moment that, gives her the letter, and they have a whole heartfelt moment. It was good. And she finally finds her calling in life, where she's going to be a designer of shoes. Yeah, I went over my time. It's
wow,
nice.
Mike.
It's
wow.
nice. Well,
nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. This is verified nice. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a film that's in my wheelhouse. I don't know why I never watched it sooner, but it definitely hits all the points for me to enjoy this film.
Did you cry?
I did not cry.
Oh.
There's not many films that make me cry. I can't remember the last film I cried for, to be honest.
I cried when she was like, "Yes, your husband chose to leave you. Mine didn't."
Oh yeah, God damn it, that was rough.
Yeah, that was it. Kathy Bates is going into Holly, and she at one point, because Holly's dad had left her as a young child, along with Kathy Bates, and they're having this argument, and Kathy Bates is basically like, "My situation is so much worse than yours because my husband left and he's still out there." And she's like, "Yeah, yours chose to leave. Mine died.
Yeah.
Mine didn't have the fucking choice." And after that, I was like, "You go, girl."
Damn. Damn.
It was rough. I mean, yeah, Holly was kind of like selfish bitch though, kind of, because she started like distancing herself from her friends and everything, because it comes out that she was just basically jealous she wasn't the center of attention anymore, and she came out and was sorry about that. She was just like, "Yes, you're right, sorry." Like,
interesting.
Yeah. And then she made her friend's wedding shoes.
She did. They were nice.
Beautiful.
I'd actually recommend watching it at least once. I mean, again, it's definitely more of like a romantic drama. There is some comedy elements to it, but it's definitely a drama that'll get you in the feels.
Okay. So we got nice from Mike. Bailey gave him a nice. And up next is me. And Jerry, you picked the movie for me. What'd you pick me?
I picked you Nothing But Trouble.
Yes. Why'd you pick Nothing But Trouble for me?
Because when I sat down to watch this movie, because I had never seen it, my fiance actually had suggested it. And then I sat down and watched it with her. And the whole movie, I was like, I think Tyler would love this movie. And it just kept going and going. And I was like, I think Tyler would love this movie.
Well, we got news for you, Tyler.
Yeah, you were right. You were right, because I do love this movie. So when you picked it for me, I wasn't going to argue at all. I was like, hell yeah, I'll watch Nothing But Trouble again. Who here has ever seen Nothing But Trouble besides Jerry? It. Mike's seen it?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Ursa, you ever watch Nothing But Trouble?
I don't think so.
Wow.
The title doesn't ring any bells.
All right, so let me tell you about Nothing But Trouble. Mike, you're going to need this 10-minute timer, because I got a lot to talk about. This is the movie you can't squeeze into 10 minutes. It's going to be a very hard time doing this.
All right, go ahead.
All right, hang on a second. Let me just crack a brewski here.
Oh, gosh.
He's getting the shakes. He's got to drink it.
Nothing But Trouble, 1991. This movie, directed by the man, my favorite Ghostbuster, one of my favorite people of all time, Dan Aykroyd. Still to this day, the only movie he has ever directed. The cast in this movie, unbelievable. Dan Aykroyd in not one, but two roles. John Candy in not one, but two roles. Demi Moore and Chevy Chase. It's insane, the star power in this movie. If I had to describe this movie, it'd basically be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but a comedy. That was the whole point of the movie. So the movie tells a story. Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, they're a couple. They're bankers. They're taking two of their clients on this trip. I think they're like going to buy something, or they're trying to convince them to buy something. And they pass through this town called Vulcanvania. Vulcanvania is based on Centralia. You guys know Centralia, Pennsylvania?
No.
Centralia, Pennsylvania is a town. It's a ghost town. Had a coal mine underneath it. And the coal mine caught on fire, and there's no way to put it out, so the town was just abandoned. You can go visit it and stuff. The ground's all cracked. There's steam coming up out of it. There's a raging fire beneath this town that just cannot be put out. So that's what this is based on. It's partially based on a true story where Dan Aykroyd, he was driving through this little town. He got caught speeding, Cop pulled him over, gave him a ticket. He's like, okay, I'll pay the ticket. He's like, that's not how this works in our town. He drove him in the middle of the night to some old mansion, honked the horn, woke up the judge. The judge came out. They sat in the living room. The judge fined him $50.
Oh.
And then afterwards, he sat down with the judge for like 4 hours and had tea. So he was like, I should write a movie about this. You know, there's people like this. There's towns that function like this in America that just they're so on the fringe. They kind of separated from normal law. So there is this town, Vulcanvania, and it's ran by Judge Vulcan. And he is a evil son of a bitch. He runs this town with an iron fist. And say you run a stop sign, Eric. What would you say the fine would be for running a stop sign?
I actually just got one a year or two ago. I can't quite remember because the fees kept racking up from there. I don't know, maybe $3,500.
Well, in Vulcanvania, you get fed through a machine that strips you of all your meat strips the meat off your bones, and then turns that meat into sausage.
Well, that's a little more expensive.
Very elaborate.
Yeah, very elaborate, very elaborate. And elaborate, the best way to put this movie. So this movie is insanity. You can't. I don't want to go too much in the plot because I want you guys to watch it. It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre by way of Dan Aykroyd with John Candy, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, and it's a comedy. There's insanity around. There's no way you can watch this movie and be able to predict what the next scene is. There's no way. That's a challenge to anyone. Watch this movie and you tell me what happens in the next scene because you will fail every time. So this movie started out with a $40 million budget. And it inflated like crazy. Now, this whole movie is practical effects, no CGI, nothing. They have gigantic, fully functioning roller coasters that feed people into a giant conveyor machine that strips them of their meat. They have giant mutant man babies. They have acres and acres full of garbage. They have a fully functioning mansion that has small little locomotives that bring food. Insanity. And all of it is on the screen because the same time this movie was in production, there was another movie in production called Bonfire at the Vanities. This movie was a Warner Brothers picture. And Bonfire at the Vanities stars Tom Hanks and Bruce Willis. And it has one of the most notorious, troubled productions of all time. It was just an absolute shit fire. Now, that was going on. So the studio was fully focused on fixing Bonfire at the Vanities. Meanwhile, they have this other $40 million production going on that no one's really paying attention to. And they're just give us a couple $1,000s here. And they're just here, okay. And then turn back to the Bonfire at the Vanities and giving no attention to what's going on at this other comedy. And what comes out is just the most insane thing you've ever seen. Everyone on this movie had a blast. Dan Aykroyd had a blast. The crew, to this day, pledge allegiance to Dan Aykroyd because he never said no. If they had a crazy idea, if they're like, hey, maybe we can, make instead of having them just drive across the bridge, why don't we construct a full drawbridge and moat? And he'd just be like, do it, and they just do it. It's hey, instead of doing just a couple cars and stuff here, why don't we have gigantic 50-foot stacks of crushed cars, and they're all vintage cars that we just go out and buy and destroy. He's like, sure, do it. And they do all this. And it's just insane. Every part of you know that song, The Hoopty, that's really popular right now? Why don't we get the band to come in, actually perform that song in our movie, and you're going to play it on the organ as well. Let's do it. And just insanity. The only person that didn't enjoy the movie, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is a notorious bastard to work with.
Yeah.
He goes out of his way to make every production he's on as least enjoyable as possible. It's insane that the movies he's in are Christmas Vacation and things like that are actually good movies because just how much of an unadulterated asshole he is.
Oh yeah.
He found out at some point that Dan Aykroyd was making more than him because Dan Aykroyd was writing, directing, and had 2 roles in the movie. Who knew he would make more money than than Chevy Chase in the movie. So after he found that out, he made it a point to phone in every scene. So just about every scene you have with Chevy Chase, it's like you can tell he's phoning it in, but it kind of works for his character. Like it's very like emotionless and dry and flat, but it kind of works for this like boring banker kind of character he's playing. So it's not a total, like it doesn't distract from the movie. You can tell he's not giving it 110%. The movie at the end is the whole town explodes. And the whole town cracks in half and explodes. And you would think, oh, they're going to do that with miniatures. No, they just built a giant town and cracked it in half and exploded it.
Really?
Yeah, it is insane. And like once the studio finally was like, all right, we got Bonfire to Vanity settled down. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at what's going on at Nothing But Trouble. And then they were like, what have we done? What is this? What is this? And the studio had no idea what to do with it. They were like, we can't put this out. We can't, Dan Aykroyd gave him his director's cut. They were like, there's no fucking way we're putting this out. They chopped it all up and they released it in theaters. Fun fact, Nothing But Trouble has the lowest average box office per screen of all time. It came out roughly like $40 to $60 million. It's very skewed. You can't really find an exact pinpoint on the budget because it started with 40 million, but they were like all throughout the production just like asking for money, and the studio was just like, "You sure? Here, sure." Because there was no one saying anything bad about the production. They were having Bonfire to Vanities where Tom Hanks and Bruce Willis were like at each other's throats the whole thing, but everyone's like, "We love Nothing But Troubles. We're doing good." Like, here, fuck, take some money, like stay out of our hair, like. And then at the end they figured out why no one was complaining because everyone was just getting like do what
everything
they wanted. And they wanted. It would be like things like they would just come in one day and be like, "Oh, we have this scene," and some prop guy would be like, "What if we do this? I can do that. Sure, go get money. Let's do it." And the movie came out at 40 to 60 million. It's like the estimated budget. It ended up bringing in like $8 million total to its theatrical run. So worldwide, $8 million. So it was
swinging a miss.
It was pretty bad.
At least they had a good time.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd swore he'd never make another movie because he was like, this is like the one and done. Like there's going to be no other opportunity for me to direct a movie like this ever again. It was his idea. He wrote it. He directed it at full freedom. Had a great time doing it, and it came out the way he wanted. But the studios didn't know what to do with it. It got released on DVD and it's on YouTube for free if you want to watch it. But the best way to watch it, there's a Blu-ray at Shout Factory put out, and it's the director's cut. It's phenomenal. Ooh. But yeah, it is insane. It's a horror comedy with John Candy, Chevy Chase, and Dan Aykroyd. It's insane. It's like insanity. There's people getting killed and explosions. It's all comedy. It's John Candy and Dan Aykroyd doing their brand of comedy in the middle of all this. John Candy does drag in it. It's hilarious. The Dan Aykroyd, you can't even recognize him in the two roles he plays in because he's like so done up. It's really great. Like the judge, they just a good job of like making him his own character.
Yeah, I didn't notice him until like 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah,
it's screen time. I was like, is that Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah, it's insane. They do such good work on him. Like the same guy that did his makeup did like Freddy Krueger and stuff. So they brought in like some really heavy hitters. Like it was a production. Like the studio was like fully behind it when they pitched it. They were like, hell yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Like 3 of the biggest box office draws of this time in a movie. Like where can we go wrong? And they
I imagine we could venture to guess, but Tyler, is it naughty or nice?
Oh, it is nice. It is super nice. How did I do on time?
It's 11 minutes now. I'll let you go a little bit more because it's a film I know you're passionate about. So I'll let you have the extra minute.
Yeah, I love this movie. Yeah. I love it. If you guys get the opportunity, check it out. Like I said, it's on YouTube. Even the studio cut is still pretty good. I mean, you're just not getting full Dan Aykroyd vision, but I mean the studio cut is perfectly fine. It's on YouTube, free with ads. I think it's on Tubi as well. DVD is like dirt cheap. The Blu-ray is pretty cheap as well. That's the best way to watch it. The Shout Select Blu-ray. So if you guys have a chance, get that. It's actually on sale on Cyber Monday, which is already passed by now, but you missed it. Snooze yours.
All right. So now we're moving on to Eric, which
the main event.
I picked.
Oh yeah,
I picked for Eric.
Why?
Let's see why I picked Very Bad Things for you, because I wanted you to find the comedy in it first, because this is a comedy film. First of all,
it's a feel good romp for the whole family.
It's not a rom. Well, I guess you could call it a rom-com in a very. I mean, there is a wedding to get to, so. So I'd call it a rom-com. I'm stretching the romantic
definitely
part
call it a feel-good movie, though.
Definitely a
Feel
feel good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Mr. Ursa, did you ever watch Very Bad Things?
I don't think so.
Oh boy, let's hear Eric tell you all about it.
I'm
then.
ready.
Okay, so Very Bad Things. It was directed by Peter Berg, who's done some other things like
Battleship.
Yep, he did Battleship. He sure did.
He works with Mark Wahlberg a lot. He's like Mark Wahlberg's guy.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
realize that. Okay. Yeah, he did The Rundown, which I liked The Rundown. Hancock, which doesn't surprise me. Deepwater Horizon, Patriots Day. Some of these I've not seen. Actually,
Those are
most
all
of
Mark
the
Wahlberg
I've
movies.
seen.
Yeah, those are all
10
Mark
minutes,
Wahlberg
Eric.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't get all the link taps today.
Right on. This movie did not do well in the box office department. It had a budget of $30 million. It made $21 million at the
So
box
close.
office.
So
Hey,
close.
Yeah,
more than nothing
so
but trouble.
Very close. Yeah. Great cast. Christian Slater, Cameron Diaz, John Favreau, Daniel Stern, Jeremy Piven, Leland Orser. Oh, that's Charles Moore. Yep. So forth and so on. They even hired a, well, we'll get into it. Okay, so let's just hit some plot. So there is a wedding coming up, and we see the groom and one of the groomsmen waiting, and they've got their legs are shaken in a way that I can relate to. You know, when you're sitting there and your knees just bouncing because you've got so much anxiety. It's like, oh, it's for the wedding, sure. Then we cut to a few days earlier.
Eric didn't realize anything was going wrong. He was just like, they thought it was just like a normal. They how these guys are.
Yeah, just wedding
Normal
dinners,
behavior.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I can relate to that. That's every day. For me.
What a relatable set of characters we have here.
Yeah, real relatable. So, dear God, and we kind of get to know our cast a few days earlier. We cut to a few days earlier. Christian Slater plays Robert Boyd, a real estate agent who is pure evil. Pure evil. Bailey, as your real estate career progresses, don't look up to this man.
Don't. Okay.
Don't.
Is that Christian Slater?
That's Christian Slater.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a good man.
John Favreau is Kyle Fisher, who is getting married, and his wife is played by Cameron Diaz, and she is awful. She's awful. But
She just wanted a good wedding.
She wants her dream wedding no matter what. And
You only get one. Or
yeah,
two.
she is bridezilla turned up to an 11, and she's really, really anxious about it. And she's just, you could just tell that John Favreau's character is like already over it, and he's just like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. And she's not the worst person in this movie. But no, she's not. So they're getting ready for the wedding, and she's kind of giving him some shit because he's about ready to go on a bachelor party, and there's a few things that he needs to take care of that she's just on his ass about. So whatever. Kyle's like, I'm going anyway. They're going to Vegas. Him and his buddies. There's him and four of his buddies, including evil real estate agent guy, two brothers, Michael and Adam and Michael Burkow. Adam is played by Daniel Stern. Michael is played by Jeremy Piven. This guy. Okay. God. All right. So they go. They're in Vegas. They're partying it up. We get some cool montages of them like having a good time or whatever. And they're in their hotel room and they're doing some drugs. And that's when the stripper shows up. Tina, played by, I think it's Kobe Tai, who is actually a pornographic actress. I looked her up. Yep.
Oh, did you? Did you take 10 minutes and go look her up?
Not 10 minutes. I didn't need 10 minutes. No. Just kidding. That did not surprise me because in order to do a scene like that with an actress who's only in that much of the movie, it's like, yeah, you'd hire a porn actress.
Meanwhile, Bailey's banging on the door. I got to use the restroom. He's like, I'm researching my movie.
I'm researching in here. Go away.
Is that what you meant? Is that what you meant with toilet clog?
So the she's a stripper, I guess, not a hooker, but she's a hooker. She shows up and she's dancing and whatever. And they're like, hey, we paid for, some time if you want to have some time with Tina, Kyle Fisher. And he's like, all right, no, I can't. So that's when Michael, Jeremy Piven's character, is like, oh, all right, I will then. So they go into the bathroom. And they are having a time. It's a little wild. And too wild, as it turns out, because this is where the movie just takes an absolute fucking turn. They're hanging against different walls, and then he slams her against a wall, and that's that. There was some sort of like towel hook or something that she gets slammed against, and it just pierces her skull. She is instantly killed. And he keeps her hanging off of it. Okay. So it's like, all right, now we've got a dead hooker in a hotel room in Vegas with a bunch of drugs. Damn. All right, that's what the comedy is. I'm like, all right, this is the more grown-up version of whatchamacallit, the
Hangover?
comedy.
The Hangover. Yeah, that's why I always call it. That's why I tell people, like, Hangover, but dark comedy.
Yes, more dark than comedy, I think.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Everyone's freaking out, and Christian Slater's character is just like, guys, okay, sure, we could call the cops. That's the easy option. We could do that. And I'm like, oh fuck.
See, he's just a bro. He's just a bro.
Yeah, he's got his buddies back.
Yeah.
It's like, or we could bury her in the desert and forget this whole thing ever happened. Yeah, oh yeah.
With a quickness that almost implies maybe he's done this before.
Yes, I definitely get the impression that he's done this before. He is like straight up, like this dude should have been a lawyer. He is shiesty as fuck. So he's done some very bad things. Yes. So okay, so everyone gets on board, and I'm like, all right, so there's really nobody to like in this movie. Fantastic. The one I liked is dead now. Great.
The only one that's brought me any kind of joy is dead.
Yeah, anything at all. Yeah, everyone else
took a 10-minute break from the film to go research her. And
so it's like, okay, so the rest of this movie is going to be them covering up for the hooker death, right? Nope. No. Security guard shows up because all the noise, which that to me is probably the most unrealistic thing in this movie. It's like, why would they give a fuck in Vegas what kind of noise is going on? Whatever. So the security guard shows up. They're going to dodge it. They're kind of dodging him and talking their way out of it. And I'm like, okay, yep, that's fine. And then he sees the dead hooker in the bathroom. And I'm like, oh no, well now I know this guy can't make it. And he doesn't because he gets fucking stabbed by Christian Slater's character, but with a wine opener. Yeah, wine cork. Yeah, end of a wine opener.
Yeah,
those things are dangerous.
And they all five hold the bathroom door shut while this man slowly dies. And Christian Slater's like, it's okay, he'll bleed out. It's fine. Everyone's kind of freaking out and stuff. You hear this poor man screaming in there and pounding on the door. And I'm like, oh my God. So then it finally goes quiet, and there's all sorts of blood in there, and they've got to clean it up, and then they hack up the bodies, and they go and they bury them after they go and bury them in the desert, but like they sneak them out in suitcases. So I'm like, what the fuck? And they get them successfully buried, kind of. First, there's a little bit of a hiccup because, which one is it? Is it Adam Burkow, Daniel Stern? Yeah. He's like, wait a minute, I'm Jewish, and we have to keep the body parts together, otherwise their souls can't get pieces. Like, oh, fuck, all right, fine. So
semantics.
Go around playing, match the pieces with these two poor dead people who were the best people in the movie, personality-wise. So they've got the bodies buried, and they're on their way home, and I'm like, oh no, this is so much worse.
There's more movie after this.
Yeah, there's a lot more movie going on. And it's their decline as things just keep getting worse. And that's when I knew it's like, I am going to be so stressed out for the rest of this fucking movie.
An effort of time, run through some of the very bad things.
Okay, so some of the very bad things is Stern's character, he can't take the guilt anymore. So he starts to have a freak out at a rehearsal dinner, and they pull him outside, and they're yelling at each other, and he starts calling his brother, who was the one fucking the hooker, a murderer, which really the only murderer was Christian Slater. But so that builds up to his brother hitting him with a car. He was aiming for the minivan, and Adam jumped in the way of it, trying to get him to stop. So he kills him. He doesn't die right away. He lives long enough to get his wife suspicious about what happened in Vegas. So they have a talk with his widow now, after a freak out too at the funeral. These guys are all awful. Like the little brother is going nuts over this casket anyway, ruining the whole thing. Anyway. So then they confront the wife, and while she confronts them, she's like, I found a note confessing about some girl in Las Vegas, so tell me what happened. And this is where I realized that Jon Favreau's character was not just apathetic, but also a fucking bastard. And he convinces her that her now dead husband, who can't defend himself, slept with a hooker and couldn't stand the guilt. And she is broken by this. That's not enough, though, because Christian Slater's character goes back later after he sends everyone over to a bar, breaks in and kills her after a struggle. Like, good for her. She put up a good fucking fight, like beat the shit out of him. But he ends up strangling her to death, which is awful. Then calls little brother who killed the hooker to begin with over and shoots him in there to set it up like it was some sort of weird love triangle. So he's just ruining everybody's like life reputation. We find out that Jon Favreau's character and his awful wife, soon to be Cameron Diaz, have now inherited the estate of Adam.
Including the special needs children of
including the certain needs. Yes, they have special needs children that they're just awful towards. And honestly, the kids aren't that great either. There's somebody to root for in this movie. They killed them very early on. So then Christian Slater's character finds out that there's insurance money, which is not that much to the disappointment of these two awful fucking people about to get married. But Christian Slater's character does not know that and confronts him. Now we're back to the few days, where we began the movie, where they're sitting there. The only friend left is played by Leland Orser, Charles Moore, who's been quite quiet.
He's the only one to root for because he's just so non-complacent anything.
Yeah, he's just a leaf in the wind. Like,
he's just a weird guy. He's a weird guy.
I can't wait to see how these characters turn themselves around. Go on, Eric.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they definitely turn around. So Christian Slater attacks Jon Favreau's character over this money that he wants. He's like, no, this is my money. I earned it. I've been the one keeping it his. And he's been giving these speeches the whole time that make no fucking sense, like at all. Inspirational, nothing speeches to keep everyone together. And anyway, he's going on again, not making any sense about how he deserves this money. And that's when Cameron Diaz's character, Laura, comes in and beats him near to death, Christian Slater. And they leave him for dead. And then she's like, I'm having my wedding no matter what. By the way, Jon Favreau's character had confessed to her what had happened. And she's like, well, this wedding's still going on. We're still going to watch.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. She gives zero shits about it. She's like, it's like one ear out the other.
Listen, the caterers have been paid. The venue is non-refundable. Like, it's fucking happening. I'm only going to wear this dress once.
Yep. That is all she cared about. And because that's all she cared about, that's all Jon Favreau's character cared about. Anyway, so Christian Slater is beaten and bloody, but he's got the rings. So they're going on with this wedding. They're like, oh shit, the rings. So they send poor Charles to go get him. And Christian Slater, kind of revives and is crawling bloody up the stairs. And he gets up to the top of the stairs just in time for Charles to open the door and knock him all the way down the stairs. Breaks his neck. This fucker finally dies. Charles gets the rings, comes back up. They finish up the wedding. And Jon Favreau's wife is just like, okay, now you're going to get rid of these bodies. You're also going to kill Charles and leave him in the desert too. So, and the dog, while we're at it, I fucking forgot there was a dog.
There's a dog. Yeah.
So she's like, kill them all, bury them, make all this shit go away. Oh my God. Okay. And he almost does. Like, they really make you think that John, his name's Kyle. I'll call him Kyle. Kyle's about to kill poor Charles. He's about to swing the shovel at him after making this poor little guy dig up, fresh desert graves. But he doesn't. We cut to them driving away. He can't do it. And so it's like, oh, great. Yeah, this is such a happy ending about to happen. And then car crash.
Yes.
Suddenly, because Kyle is not paying any attention.
Comeuppance.
Yep, comeuppance. They have this horrible wreck. Then we cut to the epilogue where now Kyle is an amputee. He's lost both his legs. Charles is confined to a wheelchair. It doesn't even look like he's got the use of his arms anymore. They have the two special needs kids from the two awful brothers. Well, the one wasn't so bad. He just couldn't keep his shit together. And Laura, Cameron Diaz's character, is having a breakdown. She's the only one
she's the caretaker. She's the caretaker.
Yeah, she's the caretaker for all of them. And
the dog also is an amputee as well.
Oh, the dog. That's right. He lost a leg. Yeah, he's a 3-legged dog now. And we just follow her as she's like looking around at the yard and understanding that her life is now fucked. And she runs out into the street having a nervous breakdown. And the last thing we see is her laying in the street. Yeah. screaming and crying.
So, Eric,
Yeah.
How far to go over?
Yeah. Sorry.
I let you go a little bit. It was selfish of me.
That's fine.
I needed you to get to the end, though. That's fine.
Sorry. Okay.
No, it's all good. So, I mean, there's good character arc. They all turned out better in the end. So, is it for you, Eric? Is this a naughty or nice film?
Man, okay. Listen, this was a great cast. Well done movie. Great shots. Great acting. I am really remiss to give this a nice. This is definitely, in actuality, a naughty movie. Naughty bad movie. Terrible, but it was very well done. It did what it set out to do. It was very stressful, so I'm giving it a nice because they meant to stress me out and they fucking did it. Very stressful.
Remember that wide range of comedy I like, Tyler? Here it is.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. Although
one.
definitely more dark than comedy. Boy, the funny stuff was it's such a mean-spirited movie. Watch this.
Absolutely.
Things happen to people that you don't want to feel sorry for. You know, it can be cathartic. So I'll give you that.
Yeah, when I watched this first time with Tyler, the part that made me just think this is wild is when he just fucking runs over his brother and kills him. Just like, God damn it.
Good Lord. Just escalated
And then
so crazy.
Christian Slater just goes off the deep end.
Yeah, he was the standout in this movie. Like, he was fucking great. Just seeing this like purely evil fuck. Just it's like I just wish the other people, his victims, were a little less likable.
I think we should all just be thankful for the 3 years between Demon Knight and Very Bad Things, because with Billy Zane and Christian Slater chewing that much scenery, we're lucky there's anything left. If these would have came out in the same year, we wouldn't be talking right now. It'd be like the Langoliers. They would
it would have been nice to
devour everything.
It'd been nice to get those two in a movie together at the top there. Just at the top
the thing is, much like Billy Zane and Demon Knight, Christian Slater left it all in Very Bad Things, and we were left with that husk of what could have been.
Yeah,
he went full throttle.
So that's it. I think we got everyone.
That's it. So we only got one naughty, right? Jerry.
Eric's was back and forth. It's like it's a naughty movie, but
he gave it a naughty. I gave it a nice then. So,
gave it a nice, yes.
So reluctant nice.
It did what it set out to do. Well,
so this was Cult Talk Net Gift Exchange Apalooza 2. Second year doing it. Did we all have fun at least?
I had fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
I had a good time. Yeah.
Well, good. We'll be back for part 3 then next year. But it's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's a big day. Ben already turned in for the evening. He's excited for Santa. So,
yes.
So
Krampus. I think he's a Krampus fan.
Krampus is on December 5th, so that's already passed.
He was safe this year.
It's Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas morning. I want to end it with something, so I figured I want to ask you,
God.
what is everyone, if they have a memory of it, what was your worst Christmas gift that you ever received?
Yeah.
Can I talk about the worst and the best?
You only get the worst.
But it was the worst at the time, but then ended up being one of the best.
Let's hear it.
My dad bought me stock in AT&T on my 18th Christmas.
Now, how much have you gotten out of that so far?
I don't want to disclose that, but
I cashed it out way too early. I
haven't cashed it.
I sold it a day later.
I did not know. That stock is fucking mine, but I mean that turned into one at the time.
What a gift! That's a good gift.
Oh, and it was so funny because he had it framed and he was so proud that he had gotten me and my older sister both separate stocks in AT&T, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not cool whatsoever. But 10 years later, man, here we are.
You're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, now I get it. Now I understand. So
I have 2. 1 year, my aunt, for whatever reason, this was years after it came out, she got me Passion of the Christ on DVD for Christmas.
I didn't know you, did she?
I was like, well, she must have been like, oh, he likes movies. I'll give him Passion of the Christ. Never even took that thing out of the wrapper. I was like, at what point am I going to be sitting around I'll pop in Passion of the Christ?
Well, I want to see a Jew get murdered. That's cool.
I'll just bite my tongue on that one there. You said it, not me. And my second one, my mom, notoriously not a fan. She got me. She knew. Oh, Ty likes wrestling. So 1 year, the only thing she got me, a wrestling figure, but a generic wrestling figure that literally broke as I was opening it. As I was opening it, it was coming off the carding. arms were popping off, legs were coming off. So I'm opening this thing. I'm destroying it as it's coming from the wrapping paper. Couldn't tell you what the fuck it was. It was some generic, like, pro wrestling action figure.
How old were you?
Oh, I was easily probably like 11, 12 maybe.
Oh, the hits just keep coming.
Yeah. Those were my two. Passion of the Christ and a generic wrestling figure that crumbled in my hands as it was being unwrapped. It was really good craftsmanship. What about anyone else? Who else got one?
So one year they had like, it's kind of like a toy giveaway thing where Santa Claus would come to people's houses and like give toys to the kids. And this Santa showed up with this big bag, and gave all me and my two brothers gifts. And he gave my one little brother, he got like a full size like Buzz Lightyear.
Jesus Christ!
Like it was a really nice gift.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
For me,
Yeah.
And, like he reaches down there and he pulls out this tiny little thing. It was like an off-brand like Hot Wheel of like a brown car. Thanks.
Like, wow.
That's fucked
A
up.
brown car. It's like what it says on a box.
It looked
Brown
like a car.
car.
Showed up in like an old Buick or something.
Way to bury the lead, Jesus.
Start with this. You don't end with the brown car.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Anyone else have any disappointing Christmas gifts?
Oh, I have. Listen, I can't. I hate this. I hate this because every gift is really kind. Like it's
Shut
very
up! Who
kind.
you snitching on?
No, that's not.
If it Bailey gave it to you, it's fine to just say that.
You can say it was Mario Brothers on DVD. I won't be offended. I won't be offended.
He'll understand, kind
I
of.
understand.
Listen, as a child, this is how ungrateful I was as a child.
Just as a child, huh?
Every Christmas, every Christmas would get us all clothes. And it was, I was always like, oh, okay, here's my aunt's present of clothes. So that was very ungrateful of me. And you should appreciate everything that people take the time to get for you.
Oh, we're all like that as kids, though.
Did they fit?
Oh, yeah, they fit. And then when she stopped knowing our sizes, she would just get gift cards to JCPenney's.
That's a good aunt.
I mean, right, but I totally didn't appreciate it. I was just like, oh, clothes,
I want toys.
So,
You rather look like a homeless person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want a full-size Buzz Lightyear, not pants.
What about you, Ursa? Anything?
Yeah, my dad, he was dating this lady who had kids, and when we were at their house, me and these kids would always just sit and play fucking Tomb Raider 3 all the time. That's all we did.
Nice.
And I had a gift from her on Christmas, and it was shaped like, a PlayStation box, and it was like fucking Tomb Raider 1.
Oh,
Bitch.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And segue to mine, the only thing I could think, I got it on my birthday. My birthday's 5 days before Christmas. Do we count it? I guess.
Yeah. That sucks. I hate having a birthday close to Christmas.
Yeah,
It's annoying.
But I know because Mom, bless her heart, tried to always at least get me a gift for my birthday.
Mhm.
And
Separate from Christmas.
separate from Christmas, just so it'd be separate because they do all the shopping. And
Well, not every year.
not lately.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Kind of a bitch when you think about it, not giving me presents anymore.
dude! I hope when you die, I hope when you fucking die, you see your mother and she's like, "You remember that time you said that I didn't get you anything for Christmas? I was there with you every single Christmas morning, only in spirit."
No. Say, prove it. Show me the lie. Show me the lie.
Well, time and start believing in ghosts if Michael's mother shows up as the ghost of Christmas past.
For clarity to your listeners, I did love my mother.
Yeah.
It's all there.
She's been lacking as of recent.
Yeah, she's not just doing great lately. But she got me a gift, and it was the year that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 ? One of the more advanced ones past number 1. And I had a PlayStation 2. And she got me Pro Skater 2. She did get it for me, but she got it to the PlayStation 1, which is upsetting because PlayStation 2 had much more capability because it was the full game at that point. Because when I seen like previews of it, I wanted to be able to run up and talk to someone and hit the square so they talk to me. But in PlayStation 1, that they don't do that because there's not enough RAM space for all that. So they just didn't write that into the game. So I just had to read text, and that was dumb.
Yeah.
So that's the closest thing I could think of. I still
Screw reading.
appreciate it. I played that shit all the time still, but whatever.
Yeah.
Closest thing I could think
Well,
of.
at least
though.
we've all gotten things for Christmas. That's one thing we thankful for.
Right,
Yeah,
or at
things
least
for
we're not
Christmas.
homeless and freezing, I guess.
Yeah.
And
so-
and love you, my aunt. I appreciate the clothes now.
Oh, yeah, now you'll say that because she's listening.
Yeah.
No, she's dead.
I don't like
Oh.
either of the people that got me those
Great
bad
aunt.
gifts. And that's why I don't like them, because of those bad gifts.
I hope they're listening,
That's
actually.
the sole reason. And
All you guys out for our dozens of listeners.
yeah.
Tens. I said
Yeah.
dozens.
Right. It's not like I hated that gift. That's just the only time I could think about being disappointed. And
Yeah.
it was a petty disappointment. She still got me a game. Fuck.
Yeah, my grandma got me one time a game for a Dreamcast. I had a PlayStation 1. You know, that was one of those, she's an old woman. But
Right.
the
It's like
case-
they don't know.
The cases were similar.
Yeah.
So, but
Especially then.
yeah, we didn't have. It sounded like we all had pretty decent Christmases overall. This was great. It's like everyone at least had fun. That's all that counts. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. It's the most magical time of the year. Tomorrow on Cult of Campbell, you can hear Cult of Russell. We'll be doing Christmas Chronicles 2 over there. This, of course, will be on Cultober Plus here, as well as YouTube. We'll do something special for YouTube. But that about does it for Cult Talk Net. A very Cult Talk Christmas. It's been a wild year. It's been a very busy year, and it's almost over. And then we get to do it all over again.
Yeah. And at time of recording, fucking Black Friday and Cyber Monday's killing me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't spent hardly anything on them. I've been very
I
disappointing.
bought things I needed. It's just still dumb.
I bought Evil
this
Dead
time of year
Rise on
there's a-
Blu-ray and Airheads on VHS.
I am rock and roll.
I am rock and roll. That's what it is. He is rock and roll. One of the best movies ever made, outside of Varsity Blues. So I made Michael watch that one in the morning.
Yeah. 'Cause I never watched it before. He's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, not in my home. But there you guys have it. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Hope you guys are ready for tomorrow. And make sure you flip over to Cult of Campbell to join us for Christmas Chronicles 2, a sequel to last year's Christmas special. Make sure you guys follow us at Cult Talk Net across the board. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, all the things at Cult Talk Net. Make sure you guys check out Cult Talk Conspiracy every other Tuesday with Bailey and I. Cult of Lore every first and third Thursday with Ben, Eric, and Jerry.
Woo.
And Cult of Campbell and Cult of Russell kind of come out whenever they feel like it, because you don't tell the kings what to do. They'll come out when they feel like it. And as always, make sure you guys follow the Cultober Plus feed for a ton of bonus content. That feed is stacked. It's been alive for 3 months and it is stacked. It's insane.
Yeah.
And Mike edited a majority of that, so thank you, Mike. You did a good job on it.
It's fine. I'll just kill myself later.
Wait till after Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah, it's unoriginal if you do it on Christmas.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
We need you to add some more episodes first.
Oh,
Yeah. You
Fine, I'll stick
gotta
around.
let Call of Lord get ahead someday. But thank you guys for joining us. Have a Merry Christmas. I've been Ty.
I've been Eric.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Bailey. We didn't introduce ourselves at the beginning.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
And you didn't give Urs a chance to say his name.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm Urs.
And Ben
Ben was here.
Ben went to sleep. He's too excited for Santa tomorrow.
He's excited. Santa's
Yeah.
bringing him really good gifts. I talked with Santa. Santa's
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Stay merry.
Stay merry.